Franklin County Board of Commissioners meetings for April 21st, 2004.
The House has passed and it's now in the Senate, and now they're in conference. There's a real bad tack on to that, apparently.
Oh.
It's kickoff of the endangered species, and it's something other species that they threw into there. And
they tacked on to something totally unrelated.
Unrelated, yeah. And the farm groups are sending out messages, tell them to vote against it. So that's bad for Transy.
It's bad for...
I bought one of those. It's only in my refrigerator.
Well, I guess we're in session.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Bridget,
Aye. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I hope you've done a better job.
You know, I brought a lot less for you to, well, you can't say a lot less because Tony did that. So.
You know, Pat, my meeting, out there at West Richland lasted a lot longer than I thought. And by the time I got everything done, I didn't make it to that meeting. Community Advisory Board, huh?
I don't think they indicated how long it was going to be.
Well, it was far too long.
It's pretty long, that community advisory.
No, I'm talking about the...
Oh, you didn't make it together. But
I made it to the other, but not to the community advisory.
Isn't the community advisory board the one that was being held in the...
Yeah, myths, the drug courts. Drug courts. But I had a meeting at 7 last night, and I just didn't feel like I had time.
Because that's one that I am on also.
So no one to come in during office business also.
Okay. Well, you gave me that PBC thing, and I'm wondering if we should show our WASAC. They're our lobbyists too, so I didn't.
You don't
She's got
want
him.
that.
She's got Potts.
Potts is the only lobbyist we have.
Well, WASAC staff is lobbyists too.
We're a membership there, though.
That doesn't matter. We still pay.
I don't know how that goes, because I was told when you declare what you spent on your PDC with Ben Franklin Transit, you don't need to put Ben Franklin Transit because you are a member of it. And so I haven't put it down for the last 2 years. So
We're a member. Just send that
What are
to
you
Potts.
talking
well, when you go
For the
to the meetings and lobby in Washington, D.C., I don't put that down because I was said, no, don't do it, because they said, don't do it because you're a member of it, so you're not a paid lobbyist. You weren't paid to lobby.
Potts is a paid lobbyist. I move the approval of the vouchers as listed.
Second?
Have
All
a
in
few.
favor?
Aye.
Pardon me?
Have a few.
Oh, my word.
Well,
If you guys had gotten business done Monday when I was here trying to escape the vouchers, why?
Also, we've got that thing we always come up and discuss today, that waiver from the Department of Social and Health Services. We don't have to do anything with that, but you just let it go. And it'll be just like it was. You know which one to speak
No,
of?
then we're agreeing, aren't we, to let people have assistance without bothering. And Frank, I'd still say that's wrong for us to do that. Because people should have to at least keep looking for a job when they're receiving public assistance. And young people with no dependents have no reason not to be out looking for a job. I can see if it's a single mother with 5 little children. Maybe
I don't
you
think
could forgive
anything
her.
we do here is going to much change that, though.
Yeah, it is. In our county, then they can't do it. They have to look for a job if they get public assistance, if we say no.
I do have it on the consent agenda for next Monday to waive it, like
The-
we always have. So
The money comes into the state. I think all we're doing is just hampering the money that comes into us here.
Well, I would ask that be removed from the sanitary because I'm going to vote against it.
Why don't we can vote on it here, rather than debate this thing again. We debate
Well,
it
that's
every
fine.
year.
I'd like to look at, I know I had a piece of paper that talked about it, and I don't have it with me, and I'd like to make sure that I'm doing what I...
I've got the deal here, Sue, if you want to see it, the one that came from the Department of Social and Health Services.
Yeah.
is Zona out of the office again today? Okay, because she was going to meet with the board at 9 o'clock. Mhm.
This is just for you, right, Eva?
I just
Yeah.
called no
What?
answer.
You
so-
just signed
Yeah.
this.
But thank you. Okay. Bye. Frank won't be coming in today, but Rick will be coming in during his time.
I
frame.
think if you'll check the minutes on that, Sue, you'll find that we voted last year just to leave it as it was, and we did it on a 2-to-1 vote.
Because isn't it just for food?
Yes. It's just for food.
I didn't have Sue control my food.
If I had a son, no, it's not that. Neva, they're not getting it. All they've got to do is go look for a job. You know how easy that is?
Well, it's not very easy.
It is very
anymore.
easy. They walk in and say, sign this, and they sign it.
Oh, well, I know, but
At least they put forth the effort.
but some people
I don't think
are
that's-
capable of even doing that.
Those people are not on this program, I'll bet you. People who are not capable are on SSI and already get food stamps, and they can't be taken away from them. I know that for a fact.
You might check with the mayor of Benton City.
Boy, they've got a mess there.
Don't they though? Their meetings have been lasting till midnight.
Yeah.
Oh.
I ran into Lynn Johnson the other day. Of course, Lynn's a little bit sour grapes on this guy. They don't quite understand.
Well, they were accomplishing some good things with Lynn. You know, for
But what they did is they got crossways in that housing authority, and that hurt him.
well, and also wanting to be a full-time paid
Well,
mayor.
yeah.
And
And-
that hurt him bad too.
Changing the subject back to this other thing, anybody who's receiving SSI and food stamps, when they go to look for a job, they are agreeing to give up their food stamps if they, not their food stamps, but some of their SSI if they give them. So they're not out there looking for a job, and they're not affected by this.
Well, I just got to understand that Sona will not make it.
Okay.
Let's just come to a vote on this thing and get it out of here. So we don't-
Okay.
But
All right.
Mr. Brock, I do have it on the consent agenda for Monday,
Okay.
so.
We don't
Yeah,
vote it
so
on
we-
the consent agenda for Monday because I do
All right.
not want to vote
Can we
against
have it
the
now?
whole consent agenda.
Sure, I can,
We can vote on it
Let's go
individually.
get it right now.
I'll go get it right now.
And we'll be done with it.
There you go.
Good morning.
No, if you, on something like that, so we can always pull it off the consent agenda and
I
vote
know
on it
that.
separately.
I know that, but the insistence that it is on it is what's bothering me. And I am in a good mood.
I don't think you are.
Oh, but I am. I just think that you guys are misinterpreting it, and that able-bodied people who have no dependents should at least have to look for a job to get food stamps.
I did it by resolution like we always have.
Okay, I would entertain a motion. Moment.
Entertain a moment. I move that Franklin County choose to accept the waiver to the federal food stamp requirements.
Second.
Oh, I can second it. I
All right.
second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay.
That meeting, Mrs.
I'm not mean. What else are they gonna do if they're not looking for a job? Sleep in?
Hey, what else,
McDonald's has jobs and they'll give you your food, you know.
Did we have any resolutions?
We only had one, and you're set.
Bye.
You're set for the next
Okay.
one.
You'll see how nice I can be when somebody else comes in here. Watch it.
Uh-oh.
The renegade. Shades of Benton County.
When I was walking in with Leo to the funeral on Monday, I said, well, how's things in Benton County? Oh, same old, same old. he said. Although Max didn't speak to me this morning, he said, but I always wonder when he's friendly.
Did Max didn't show up to Kinder, did he? I never saw him.
Well, he doesn't like the care board.
So God, you know, Claude and Lee over there, for sure.
Yeah, but Max doesn't like them, so. Them, I must be him, huh?
Or something.
Pat, on
Yeah,
this
that are
stuff from the health board for our retreat, do you have all of those times and places down?
Health board's having a retreat also?
I don't mean
Transit?
health board,
Transit,
looking
yeah.
at transit. Do you
Yes.
have all that stuff down? Because I want to throw this and
Yes.
maybe the health board needs a retreat too.
Maybe we do.
No, we're going okay.
Did you sign that thing? Put your prioritize what you wanted to.
I
You
didn't
got
see
you got
what
a
it was.
form that asks you to prioritize.
Well,
what
I
you
haven't got through
On
my
what
form.
service?
On,
You didn't receive one here.
Everybody's supposed to receive one, not
Well, I
just.
didn't receive one.
I mean, why would they send Sue Miller one and not Neva?
They probably do mine at home
I assume you didn't have their phone.
because I get all my mail from
You're
transit
right.
at home
You're right.
for some unknown reason. Behave.
Violence. Violence.
Another day off. and-
Workplace violence.
That's right.
Okay, I guess we do. We want to talk about anything else?
I can give you
Under-
a heads up on Mel Annison. Do you know Mel Annison? Frank does. You
I don't
do.
think
You
I
do
do.
know Mel Annison.
Oh, my, Mel Anderson. What
Okay,
about-
she called about the geological trail that Benton County apparently approved support of it the other day, and it's that will give her theory on this. It'll give the National Park Service jurisdiction over this whole area. It'll become a national park or something thereof similar. And she's very much against it. Daryl, our waterman, Daryl Olson,
Daryl Olson.
is writing a letter to Benton County telling them in no uncertain terms they must retract their support for this.
I'll support Darrell Olson's position.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I said, ask Daryl to copy us with that letter if he
Yeah.
feels that's appropriate. If not, I'll ask Benton County for it. And so that's what they're going to do.
He is
So
probably as versed as anybody around I know of.
that's what Mel and I discussed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted you to know.
Okay, doctor.
No, you've heard how happy we are, Larry.
Well,
We are happy.
Well,
These guys just don't want to listen to me, and I try to lead them right down the correct
Food
path. And
stamps, yeah, that's a sore
We
subject.
give,
with me.
her a day off and she comes back and we can't get along with her.
You know, they need to change that food stamps more like a WIC program.
yeah,
Where, you know, right now you can get
But see, they can get
candy,
it.
you can get all this stuff on food stamps.
yeah,
I mean,
everything.
and everyone's
Get
so
it.
overweight.
These adults
I mean,
are referred to
at least
as
with WIC, you have to get
able-bodied adults
flour,
without
milk,
dependence.
the basics,
After
breads,
receiving
you know.
food assistance for 3 months, they
Look,
must meet the
If you go
following
into
work.
a
So they are
franchise
going
like
to
a
Why the
require
3
it.
months?
You just
Yeah,
have to
why
watch
the
the
3
people come
months?
through that.
Oh, I know.
But
I mean, why
Yeah.
give them the 3
Talk,
months?
but my
Let's
God.
just
But
face it.
food stamps should be for
They should
wholesome
go to-
food. It shouldn't be for
Yeah.
candy and.
No,
Well,
our-
didn't in the past was it not for candy, or was it always that you could get candy?
I guess you can get anything. Minnesota's changing. They're trying to get a
April
waiver from
28th,
the
meeting
feds
I
to
have
say,
heard.
look, you know, we're just going to do the basics.
I've heard people getting in trouble. I've heard many. I've witnessed
Okay, good.
people making a deal with the grocer
Yeah.
on cigarettes and things simply because the grocer wanted the business and then he could get in big trouble if he.
Oh
got
yeah. So, anyway. Okay, a couple things. One, we did get the Health Alliance working with Lourdes got that community grant out on time. We're asking for $1 million first year to start up, and this is really an access grant to help access to medical care.
okay,
Working
what's
closely.
going on with the alliance and the dental thing? The smile?
That's the next thing I was going to say. But anyway, so we put that in,
Okay.
and I think we've got a good chance of getting it. You know, it's one of those things. Sometimes you put it in, then you get it, and then boy, you know, because it's going to open a can of worms. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. We just got so many. You know, the system's so broke to get, for access. It's just,
Well, like when David had a skiing accident, he went to work, but his boss said, "Go get your ribs x-rayed," because he said, "I think you've broken your ribs." Well, he went over there, and it would have been 10 or 11 o'clock before they could have seen him. So he got mad and walked out and went to Kenya Clinic and got in.
Yeah.
But he had to pay up front because Kenya won't
Sure.
bill the insurance. But the thing, it's just incredible that
and I can understand why they don't do insurance, because they lose
They
money.
don't get paid.
They don't get paid. So it's going to be difficult. And then they want more, like
well, I think our
these things.
insurance pays good though.
Depends on what physician. They pay about 30% to the family practice. Your super specialists, they get up to about 90%, 80,
But on
90%.
regular insurance,
Not group health, you're talking about, is that what you're saying?
All of them.
well,
The family practitioners are really hurting right now, and that's the ones we need. So what's happening now, they were pushing, and a lot of people were going into family practice. Now the med schools, the kids coming out now are saying, "Hey, why should I go here?
Yeah.
I can't make any money or lose. They can't make a living." So they're all going into the specialty in dermatology and all those that you can. So it's sad. The whole system's so broke. It's really bad. So anyway, we're going to put in for this grant, and if we do, at least we can use nurses and use case management and try to get them into a system of some kind. And we'll use the clinic and probably Grace Clinic mainly for this.
I just want to tell you something.
Yeah.
If we have all these young people that want to make big bucks, if Dolly Parton were going to be born today, she might not be born. Because when she was born, her father gave the family doctor who came out on his horse a sack of meal for that baby. And had he not come out, they said the baby probably would have died in birth. So see, we wouldn't have Dolly Parton if she was born today. Everybody's working for big bucks.
Well, they're
they
not
used
working
to-
for big bucks. That's the problem. The big bucks are going to the insurance companies. Now that same OB.
I mean, experts.
Well,
you know.
what's going to happen now, that OB person, because of malpractice, is not going to be delivering babies
So many
in rural.
doctors.
We're probably going to be okay here. We've got plenty of OB, but you start our neighboring counties, they're going to have to come here to deliver
So
babies.
many doctors
I
are
don't
not
blame
doing
them.
OB anymore because of that.
Well, right now, I think our OBs are paying 67 to 70,000, which is up 15,000 over last year, and they think it'll probably go up again that much next year. And they're not getting any more for deliveries. The costs of doing business are going up, so most of them are trying to get out. But even if you get out, the insurance clause that covers you for 5 years for back malpractice is running about 200,000. So it's hard to get out even. So they're cutting the limit. So tort reform is
important.
It's absolutely mandatory.
it is. It is. It's going to
Except
kill
you
us.
can't convict, or you
Can't
can't
convince
convince
our-
your legislators.
Look how many attorneys are coming out of law schools each year
Yeah.
looking for something to do.
You know we have 10 times the attorneys that Japan does per capita.
Of course, Japan has a tougher standard, and they got a lot of paralegals, so too.
Yeah.
They got a
But
tremendous
still,
number of
they don't have near the lawsuits and stuff.
No,
Yeah.
we got all these frivolous, screwy things that we have to deal with here.
Yeah, it's hurting us all. Anyway, as far as we had an oral coalition last week. The Smile Saver executive administrator that was hired after they fired Larry Momo came and brought us supplies, what they had. It's probably thousands of dollars worth of supplies. And to stick them in the health department. They didn't have any place else to put them. That was last Thursday night, and she addressed the board. They're giving all the, you probably read that in the paper, they're giving all the equipment to the Health Alliance. And they are meeting, I think today, with the landlord to see if they can get some kind of a deal cut. I know Spencer Jellick thinks, he was there at the meeting, he thinks that the landlord would be really very willing to work with us and everything. So Right now, we're looking at several ways of doing it. La Clinica will work and do the kids, so that's no problem. They'll come in and staff and use that part for the kids. They don't want to pay for the building. They'll come in and use it. So, but I think we can probably figure out some way to do that. But the thing is the adult need. How are you going to take care of the adult need? No one wants to do adults because there's no reimbursement. There's no reimbursement for adults that need dental care. So we're going to try to work with Grace Clinic or do some other things. So, we're working on it, but it's not an easy thing.
How does Grace Clinic, how can they do what they do? It's just all volunteer?
It's all volunteer. That's why they can do. They don't have any billing or anything. So people just come in
and they just tell.
and they do some case management. But they've got a lot of volunteer.
Is-
It's all done by volunteers.
Is that still in that church?
Yes.
Okay. Are they outgrowing?
Well, I hope so.
Well, I would think.
And I think
they
with
would
this
be.
grant, this will help because, the grant that, the $1 million grant, we're going to try to help them out somewhat too on this thing. So we'll see. I think at least give a case manager will probably be assigned to them full time and everything. So yeah, I'm sure they are. But and they would like to do more than just the Saturday. They'd like to add on
Yeah.
several days because they are doing a great job. And, but they had so many chronic illnesses that they've there for a while they had to stop new patients from coming in.
Oh.
So anyway, that's what the dental situation is right now. So it's a lot better than it was. So we are getting.
Well, it's better than
The equipment-
losing the equipment and
equipment
and
is
the
there.
supplies.
and I think there's 6 chairs. I mean, they're not good chairs. I mean, they're not fancy. They're not worth that much. But
But they're better than none.
at least you can see patients. So we're working with all kinds of things and trying to work with.
Now, did they do the sealants in the schools, or?
Yes, they
were
did,
we
and-
still doing that? We
No,
were.
they were doing They were doing Franklin County, so that will be done by La Clinica now.
Okay.
They are taking over the sealing program, so that'll be fine.
Well, that's good because.
So
I know.
that'll be taken over. So yeah, they gave up everything. In fact, there's there's local law. The sheriff is involved. FBI now. Everyone's involved in the Smile Savers thing. Yeah, there's going to be some charges and.
Oh, my.
Looks like so. Anyway.
Well,
The other big thing I want to discuss is I want to know what your position is on the building and where we are.
this
and
one?
Yeah, well, for us, what the timetable is, how
Well,
much
I would
room
I'd
is
like-
going to be made available for us.
Yeah,
or
I'd
that,
like you
and
to,
what kind of-
to actually take a walkthrough now that we've got it cleaned up
Sure.
and I don't know,
Well, I can come back and do that sometime too. That's no problem.
but because Fred and I was talking, and maybe he's talked to the other 2 commissioners about it, but he feels that it would be really easy to modify.
Well, it is because the basement. I've saw this building before.
Well, and then
it's
also-
easy to put plumbing and
It's a
stuff.
pretty good old building now.
Well, we've
Well, you put the the
We put
biggest albatross was the HVAC system.
Yes.
And you
Yeah, and we put a
completely
new one
did
in,
it,
and
yeah.
then also we redid the water pipes.
Yeah.
All of the piping.
But,
so.
after this is done, we walked through it before and this looked pretty rough.
Oh, I know it did. I saw it when it was before.
Yeah.
But
It
I
was
think
a money
this would
saver
give
to us
the
looking
room
at
that,
portable.
Well, sure it was. Oh, portables.
you'd have a lot more room for.
Yeah.
And you,
Yeah,
you don't have anything to show for it either. For portables,
But-
after you
One
get
thing
out.
that
But
people
yeah.
are noticing now is that they like being on one floor, and it's more convenient. And we're not used to this. It
Yeah.
really has been, people come in, they have access.
They don't have to walk
I
up the
know.
steps to get into the courthouse, like in the.
Even for the departments, there's a lot more communication.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, what time frame? Because we're going to. Are we talking about? That
We're
you
talking about
do move
being
back
out of here
in?
September 05, aren't we? In a
Yeah.
perfect world.
In a perfect.
Yeah, In a perfect
Okay,
world.
so-
See, we haven't gone out to bids yet. Well, we've gone, the bids haven't come in.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just seeing
But the
ballpark.
construction should be, that's what the architect, said, September 2005 would, the courthouse would be complete. Well, then it'll take a while for this to be refurbished, if that's what
Yeah.
you desire or what the board desires.
206 would be as early as.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
January.
Okay.
26th.
Well, I just want to know for planning and how much would be available and what kind of terms. And
Well, I think the
the
extension agent wants to stay here, county extension.
So,
Is
those
that-
are the
There's
kind
been
of
talk about that, but I'm not sure.
those
We're
are
not
kind of
positive.
those are the kind of things we need to know on our planning.
But you know, there's about, what, 3 or 4 vaults in this place. You know,
Oh, I know.
There's a lot of room plus the basement there.
Well, I know there's a lot of room.
and that basement cleaned
It's
up
good storage.
beautifully.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Except it's not handicap accessible is a problem, but it can be used for,
Well, it's good
storage,
Yeah.
and-
That's what it is.
but there's some, couple nice offices, kitchen and stuff down there.
So anyway,
Put
that's
Perkins down in the basement.
In a dark corner.
well. That's why we kind of need to know what's going to because we're looking at we need something in Richland, but
Well, that's a
If
short drive from Richland over to here. It's right on
but we want to know how much but how much space because there's a certain other we don't have to have everything, but we want to know what we need to keep in Richland, what
Because
we
a
don't.
good share of the auditor's office will be available too, except for that one portion over there she's gonna keep for elections. So most everything on this top floor, except for that one part for elections, will be available.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've been down that way, but that cleaned up just beautifully.
They really did. Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah, I'll look
even
at
wanted it.
Yeah.
And there's quite a bit of parking here too, Larry. We got this parking out
Yeah, I know
back,
it.
this
And that's
parking.
great.
Yeah.
The public is really pleased. It's so much more.
Oh, you
accessible.
bet. Yeah, this is
Well,
it's a
you
good
don't have
location.
pork. You don't have pork here, you know, it makes a lot of difference.
Oh, it
to the
makes a
public.
big difference. It's a big difference. Okay, so those are the kind of things, and we will be having a building committee, and you're on the building committee because you're
Yes.
on the budget committee. Okay,
Okay,
and we will not be having a board of health meeting
yes.
Thursday.
That's kind of good because I want to go to that high school program that they're having, that beach party
Well,
program.
if you don't, my philosophy is if you don't have something that really is necessary, why have it?
Yeah, that was a good move.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, I could,
Just
I
to say
could bring
you're
it,
having a
I
meeting.
could bring it in and give you all kind, give you a whole program, but unless there's really official business, it's a waste. It's not a waste, but your
You
time
can
is
utilize
valuable.
your time
You can
better.
use it.
You know, one thing I was gonna mention to you, Larry, and
Yeah.
I know this comes in your food inspection deals,
Mhm.
but the barrier between the Hampstead product and some of these places is really poor, and I'm speaking of the gloves. And also, people are using open containers of jelly. They're still passing those things. And boy, that's the most unsanitary thing in the world. They put the lid there contained,
Yeah, I know.
but it goes from table to table
Yeah.
to table, and that should be illegal. Without
I'll
having
bring 'em up.
Now,
seal.
talk about
I'll look
it.
into it and see.
Oh, I tell you,
But it is.
bothers me though.
Yeah.
It is a thought because it's one thing
Yeah.
if somebody dips in and gets jelly and puts it on their plate and it goes away, but you see people continually using the same
Well, they
knife
do
or the
that, and then they'll
spoon.
lick their spoon and put it in there, and then they go to the next guy. But
I didn't know they were doing that. Okay, well, so I'll get on this.
I know some restaurants specifically.
Those
that
people
have
should be
that.
arrested, don't you?
Well, give me the names and all.
I will.
Yeah, just give. No, I know.
How we do it in public meeting? They need to be punished.
Well,
So anyway,
but
but
your
we are-
website is on.
Huh?
I mean, we do have a website.
We have
Or-
but we are going to, and we're working towards having restaurant inspections on the website.
Yeah,
That's what we're working
I think
on.
that's
We
going
announced
to be a
that.
great idea.
And I think I tell you, when they did it in New York, the red item inspections, which means the serious write-ups in restaurants, were less than half. People don't want their names, and I mean, it's a great hammer.
Yeah.
And
It's great for the public because they get
people
better
who've done this
sanitation.
For so many years, they don't realize that running the restaurant, really, what they're doing is not acceptable. But boy, it's not. I tell you.
No, but I tell you, when you start when the public has a place to go and they can check on places, it puts the manager to put sanitation as number one on the priority instead of some of this other stuff. Anyway. Okay.
Okay, I guess
That's
we
it.
have.
Any questions for me?
I was just
Don't
interested
worry.
I was
Okay.
just interested in the Smile
Yeah.
Savers.
And that's
And,
the latest we have on it. We'll keep you informed.
That's good.
And we'll probably have more at next. You're on the Alliance, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, the third week in May. Third Monday in May. We'll have that. We'll have more on it. But I'll let you know next month.
Is Bob Burton still real active in Alliance?
He comes to the meetings.
Oh,
So anyway, he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
It's hard to. It's lucky to get him. But yeah, he still has good ideas, and he's got all that. The other thing that we will have at our next Board of Health meeting is Sandy will be presenting the BRFIS. That's the Behavior Risk Survey that we oversampled in Franklin and Benton counties.
Yeah.
So you will get to see how our behaviors are in
Yeah.
Franklin County.
That's good. That'd be
That's a
interesting.
real good.
It'll be very. It's an eye opener.
Yeah.
We've got some real.
problems?
Well, we mirror. I mean, we're no different than the United States. The United States has some real problems. The state has some real problems. We have some of the same ones. Yeah, you'll find out, especially in obesity and fitness. And things
Don't
like that.
Don't talk about obesity in front of me.
Me either.
Why?
Because
You know, don't worry.
I am.
But
Talk
58
to my doctor.
58% of your people are overweight.
I don't know.
Good food.
But that's not
We
the
need
problem.
worse-
That
we
is
need worse
causing
food.
our diabetes went up from 3% of the individuals on the survey to 10%.
That's really
God.
scary.
Since 95. Since
That's-
95 in Franklin
That's
County.
scary. But you
That's
know
real
what?
scary.
I've known some skinny guys that get diabetes. It's diabetes too, and that's really bad.
So anyway, it's,
We all little Weight Watchers
It's a national.
here.
It's an epidemic. It really is, and it's going to cost our society and country a lot.
Oh boy,
That's the food.
that diabetes is scary, and
Yeah.
Did Dr. Yeffa sign?
Yes, I think.
Yes.
thanks, Larry.
Okay, thanks.
See ya.
Thank you.
Mr. Brock, may I have a motion on the payroll?
You want a motion on the payroll? What kind of a motion,
How
Pat?
come he gets to
A
make it?
motion to approve?
He gets to
I
make all
move
the
for
motions.
approval of the payroll for Franklin County Public Works Department.
I'll second it reluctantly because I never get to make motions around here anymore.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
You'll be sorry
Such
you
trauma.
You'll be sorry you let me have a day off.
We give her a day off, she comes back and we can't get along at all.
where did you go to take your mean pills?
To the ocean. It was so nice. My daughter didn't want to return.
I'm going to talk to your daughter. But you know, we're talking about diabetes too. You know Don Scheibe.
Yes.
Don Scheibe's wife, both of them have diabetes.
Yeah.
You know, and boy, that's tough going. Don's such a nice guy, but man, he's got some serious.
He's got
Oh, he's
serious
got
health
health
problems. Yeah.
With that heart and, okay, I guess Fred is not going to be here, so you're going to have to go it alone.
He hadn't shown up, so you're.
No, Fred told me to, I was a big boy, so come on down.
Well, how many did you rent last night? Any?
None last night, but I've got two out there right now that come in a couple days ago for the show this weekend.
Oh. Now we're charging them.
Yeah. Kind of a agenda for today.
Oh, we're.
Item one, the RV park rate was requested last time to wait till Sue comes back to have another reading, another discussion on that.
Yes.
What kind of the history on it, Fred? What I would call a first reading, and brought it to you for $34.95 for full service, $26.95, and then water and power at $20.95. And then yesterday, Fred put together and brought out a proposal that he thought would, as his recommendation, that non-track users at $29, which is fairly competitive with Sandy Heights, and then $26 for track users, which is fairly competitive, and then power and water at $20. And then we budgeted for non-track at $26, the track users at $23, and these all include tax. And power and water wasn't included in the original budget because those 13 sites were not part of the original drawings, and they were put in after the budget was submitted. And then kind of what my recommendation is go along with what Fred's talking about on the non-track at 29, power and water at 24, which is a little higher than what he's looking at. And then the full service for track users at 24 and 19, and $3 for dogs per day. And all
Full service
prices.
for track users.
But I can't, it seems to me like we should do this plus tax.
Well, if you do that, you should for people who are coming in, it seems to me it would be easier to include the tax. You may want to add the tax on this and change the numbers.
Because when we get a quote from a hotel, $89
They give you their
a
quote
night,
and then they add the tax
and
on
then
top.
you get the tax. And
Yeah.
so I think we should add, I don't think this should include the tax. What would that make that full service non-track be then?
Well, at 29, I don't have a calculator on
Well,
there.
he says about 10%
8%,
tax.
$2.
Yeah, 10.
Oh, no,
40%,
10% is with a hotel.
Yeah,
because they have
10%,
their
so
own-
Then
you
you
do
got-
it
then you got-
$31.90,
yeah,
you'd be about $32.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's full service,
That would be full service non-track users.
$32 for them.
And
But I want to ask you something though. If we could say we charge them $40, we'll make a lot more money. But if that thing
If
is
they
vacant
come.
out there, we're not going to make any
Okay,
money.
but what's Sandy Heights? Yesterday he told me, but I don't have it here.
okay,
I did have it, and I don't know.
okay.
What do you? who had
What
what?
is Sandy Heights?
Okay, this is what I gave the
Because-
board yesterday.
But I disagree with picnic tables. I think we need picnic tables.
Well, that's why I've got it on the agenda for the discussion.
Oh, this is not included in this decision. This is another one. Okay. 2621.
2621 plus tax. And
Ta-
and track users are 2396 plus tax. Is what Sandy Heights charges.
What is
But-
what is Sandy Heights?
That's the next one.
What do they charge now?
Right there on the top.
2621.
I think we should charge the same as they certainly not charge anymore. But I think-
You can. Okay, I'm sorry.
But what I do think we should do though is include it. Period. Whatever it's going to be, include the cost
Just-
of it.
So that nobody has to do figures. So these
That's
people,
correct.
when they
Yeah.
come in, they know exactly what they're getting.
In
Not
other words, if it's
not this hidden thing.
No, other words, it's $2 extra, and then put the tax in there, and round it out to an even figure.
Now, I don't want to have to do 21 cents and change. I'd
Well,
rather do that.
if you round it off to an even figure, I think you're going to be in trouble anyway because, you got to have your price, and the state's going to want their 10.3 even if it's on a nickel. 'Cause
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
and
but-
Becky backed
But it'll
it out.
work
But you
out,
can
maybe.
back that out. It's just for the user
It's for the-
convenience,
it's
so
for
they
the-
don't have
yeah,
to figure.
it's for user
But
convenience.
But you make it very well obvious that your taxes are included. There's nothing that you don't see here that you're going to get
Well,
charged for.
why do we want to do that any more than any hotel in the whole
Just for
United
convenience.
States?
Well, because we've got it in there, and so that point can be made to people. There's no hidden tax. You're not going to get something else on top of this.
Now, when I go up to,
I mean, it infuriates me
Yeah,
every time
come on.
I get a quote from a hotel, and I'm saying, "And what's the
What's the
tax?"
tax? Yeah.
Because they don't tell you. And
because,
sometimes the taxes are
when
very
I go to
hefty.
Yakima, I pointed out last time, I pay $18 for power and water there, service, and that's taxes included in it.
Yeah.
And
I do have a concern about Sandy Heights because they were the fellow who's not the boss, Jack,
Jack.
had really accosted me one time. In fact, I'm ready for him now, but it's too late. But he was very threatening. You try to take our people away, but because for one thing, we're providing a great deal of convenience where we are that he doesn't have. He's got a little quick shop there for candy and water and stuff and things. But we've got within walking distance Yoke, the Gordon Winery, a good 2 or 3 good eating, well, 2 good eating places at least, a cheap eating place, a pizza parlor type place, and I think we could afford to up him $1. But I'm not.
I hate to,
I don't want to die on that hill,
I want to see our users get a break on this thing. I think they should definitely.
People are using track.
That's right. I think the people that use track need to get a break on it.
But we do have, do we not? Track users are a little cheaper. Is that what I can't find it.
Yeah, that's the second on my recommendation. That's the second one. Full service track users 24, power and water at 19, and then $3 a day per dog.
And I don't agree with that. I don't charge $100 a day for
Yeah.
a dog. No, I think $3 is too cheap on that.
The only one that I could find that charged for dogs was at $2 per day per dog.
Yeah, I think
We
that's,
better not push it then.
I think
because-
that's plenty, but I'm not going to agree to these figures without tax.
Without what? Oh.
Well, we
29
don't-
plus tax.
Would you agree with figure in the tax and say 32 tax included then?
Yeah.
But, what we want to set, I don't want to see us crowd ourselves out of the market.
Yeah, that's right.
We can charge whatever we want. We can sit back here and make all sorts of great statements, but people filling up those spots is going to be important to us.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we.
Well, and
we
I
give it a
think
break.
the spots need to be filled up before our empty, our parking lots.
But we can't force people into that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we can keep them from parking in our parking lot. It's for parking.
Well,
We sure can.
they come there for an event, and I disagree. I think if a guy, they come in and
Well, if we've got a facility, then they need to use it.
we've got a motorhome, and you come in and you don't need those, don't want those amenities, I don't think you can force people to do that.
I mean, we didn't have a place for them to park before.
Well, if it's plainly stated there, I could see doing it. That somewhere in here, when you come in, you say this has to fill up first before the parking lot can be used because we have so many cars coming that utilize. That maybe that could
But
be.
it depends. I disagree that we can force them in.
Yeah, if Frank was coming in with his horse trailer, if I'm reading what I'm hearing right, Frank come in with his horse trailer and wants to park in the parking lot for the sale this last weekend.
Does he have a motorhome in front of that horse trailer?
Well, he's got a living quarters on the front of it.
On the front of the
Yeah.
horse trailer.
Yeah, he's got a living quarters. Then are you going to force him to park over there and pay to go to that event? It's free.
I got a living quarters there, and I got.
Where's he going to put his horses?
In
In the
stalls.
barns?
Well, you can or you can't. I mean, that's still an option.
Yeah, that's
for them,
still an
too.
option.
And
Okay, but there's a reason for a person to be parking out in the parking lot. I think. What?
Yeah,
Because
and
I've got
having all of
horses and
the-
I stall them in my.
They're just coming in for the day.
Oh, uh-huh.
He just comes in for the day.
and you've got your tack. You carry your tack and your
Yeah, and so you don't want, and not only that.
No,
Well, I'm going to tell you what. You made this far too complicated.
we're open a can of worms if we start charging people on that other that we just won't be able to do.
Well, make a motion.
Okay.
And I'll vote against that. That's
Okay, I move that
give
we-
you my position.
That we set the rates at track at the full service for non-track total, non-track at $29 including tax, users for $23 including tax, and $19 for. Excuse me, I'll go back and redo that. Full service track users, $24. Power and water, $19 including tax. And for non-users, $31.
I don't know where you're reading from.
Well,
Okay.
he's not, is he?
No, you're not reading from what he.
Are you
told
kind
today.
of?
I don't have to read from what he said. I'm looking at it, and
Where? I don't see even $31 anywhere.
I added that.
What he's saying, I think, if I understand the motion correctly, Frank, you start out with 29,
But then I increased it $2 on that,
right, to 31.
and including
And that,
tax.
that includes tax.
Yeah, everything includes tax.
Everything
Right.
includes tax. Full service
Okay.
track users 24, power and water 19 including tax, non-users $31 including tax, and $3 a day for dogs.
Non.
The only change you made in my recommendation then was the 31 instead of the 29.
Yes, that's correct.
No, you're saying power and water 19.
Well, that was, you said power and
Oh,
water.
down there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys
Well, what do you got? Power and water 24 and 19. What's the difference there?
Full.
You have options.
You have options. If somebody wants to come in and they just want power and water, then I've got an option for them, if they've got the big rigs. There's some of those that won't fit in our RV slots.
So you've upped it by $2 on his recommendation for the full
Service.
tracks
To include
users.
tax, yes.
And you are agreeing with the 24 he has.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And then for track users, it's 24 as he has it,
Yes.
and water and power is 19
Yes.
as he has it.
And dogs are $3.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Leaving no opposed?
Okay.
Is your opposition because you wanted to add the tax to it even?
To all of them.
Okay. I went out and got several vendors on the Small Works roster for the picnic tables and contacted those five vendors that come onto the list. Two of them submitted proposals. They're both outside the $25,000 limit with the taxes. And I'm not sure whether that, and I have to clarify with Darwin or Darren whether that 25,000 is with taxes or with total bill. But this is what it came in at,
Huh?
Total bill,
total bill.
according to Prosecutor's Office.
What, these quotes are
Mhm.
total bill?
Yeah. And so it looks like I'm going to have to go out to bid for picnic tables or drop my number down to just 46.
And
Or just not go out for picnic tables?
Or just not go out to picnic table.
you know, we're looking at dollars here, and I look, it says use the dollars to upgrade a higher capacity street sweeper as opposed to spending on picnic tables and let people at this time provide their own. I kind of like that idea.
Well, that's one comment I wanted to make, is most people who have motorhomes have a picnic table, a collapsible picnic table in their motorhome. And
Yes,
they have
that's
that
right.
stuff because
Yeah.
they're used to going wherever they want to go with that.
And the horse show people, about a quarter of them had little tables
They
they
have
put
their
out
own
with
tables.
their folding chairs and everything.
So I think I would be, you know, are we going to have, since we're brand new, are we going to have some kind of a, please answer, please fill out this form, please give your suggestions type thing? I would ask that, I would not put the picnic tables in and ask them what they think would be, you know, I don't know
I
if you
can
want to suggest.
definitely
picnic
make one
tables
up.
or- Then I would make a motion that we do not put them in and use them, not take these quotes,
I'll second that motion for the smiling commissioner on my left.
whatever that motion was. I hope you understand.
I understand it.
Okay.
With the proposals right now, they're outside that 25,000,
Yeah.
2,500.
Well, I think we need other things, and that sweeper is so important to us out there.
You're right. And-
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Because I think we need picnic tables. It's an RV park.
Okay, and that's not.
And you may be right, but I feel it's something we're going to have to look at.
And I looked at, looking at some other type of picnic table, and they're all about the same price.
Well, you want,
If
you
I went
get
to
them,
a
you want
lighter-
heavy ones that people
Yeah.
can't move, but then we've got to move them to mow.
Yeah, if you get 46 of them on there, then you got to move 46 of them.
Throw a slab of cement down there and put 50 feet on.
And that, Fred and I talked about that yesterday, but that's, some additional dollars that's not included in the contract. Another item that for discussion is, and I know Fred and Frank have had some discussion on this, is we're looking at some type of utility vehicle for track and for the RV park, for running around, cleaning up, various types of things, just going around, saving a lot of steps. And I've got right now 2 different approaches on it. One was an electric powered utility vehicle, and that was priced out at $72.70. Or RDO has a propane 4x6, a larger Gator type thing for $63 plus $1,000 for the conversion. And one of the reasons we would like to stay away from the gas is we'd like to be able to move around inside buildings, so we can haul equipment either at track or the RV park inside buildings. And so we need to go either with the propane or the electric.
What would be wrong with having, because we're gonna need one out at the RV park, and we don't need to have propane there, and you don't need to have propane inside of the rodeo arena. We run gas for decent practice all the time.
Well, because that same rig would be going probably inside the pavilion, it would
You
be
can't
going
have
inside.
the propane.
And we can't,
But-
the propane would be acceptable,
But are we-
But
The
we-
gas wouldn't.
but the gas wouldn't,
You can't use gas in the main building, but
yeah.
are we looking at 1 or 2 vehicles?
Well, one for the RV park and one for track.
But you don't, what I'm saying is you don't need propane for the RV park.
No.
Could I ask, what's the club car?
It is like a golf cart.
Oh,
It's a heavier duty one.
It's a
I
heavier-
and they're
yeah.
electric.
Yeah, it's in there electric.
Doesn't the fairgrounds have a couple of those bigger where they can?
Yeah,
They're
They have
gas.
those, I think
They're-
they're.
They call them
well, they have a
something
lot of
else.
golf carts, but I think they
Yeah.
did have a couple
Oh,
of bigger ones.
for
Yeah.
hauling ice and
Uh-huh,
stuff.
uh-huh.
But those are all little gas
Yeah.
deals.
I know, but what do they call them?
4-wheelers, just little
Just
4-wheelers.
Gators.
Gators,
Yeah.
yeah. They're different, right?
Right, that's a word I was looking for. Gator.
Gator.
We have,
that would-
we have Gator up for, that's what we
Okay.
But a gas
Is
one.
it gas?
It's diesel.
Diesel?
Yeah, well, same
Yeah,
difference, you know.
yeah.
Fuel,
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
than
But-
electricity or.
I can see where, with my position, where I'm split, where I'm going from my office with whatever rig we got going into the expo hall, parking there, going into the office and coming back out, or that type of thing, with that. If you
I
walk
think
as
we may
much.
have to make you walk.
How do you think I've been keeping so fit? I put on about 4 or 5 miles just going back and forth, about 5, 6, 7 trips a day.
But you never finished your sentence. You can see with all those things you have to do what?
Then a gas engine wouldn't work,
Would not.
would not.
You have to have propane.
Well, you got to
A
remember to
propane
plug
or
those
gas.
electric ones in.
And the electric ones, we've got a spot at the end of the pavilion, there in the break area, where we got the Zamboni, where those would be parked every night and plugged in.
Propane would be the most practical if we're gonna have to go to one or the other.
Well, I'd like to see us, if we can, do proposals for local people.
Okay, the only 2 that are on the Small Works roster are Farmers Exchange and RDO.
You mean Columbia Grain isn't?
No, they're not on the Small Works roster.
I can't believe that.
They're,
They don't have 4-wheelers at Columbia Grain. Columbia Grain Field, they have lawnmowers, but they don't have 4-wheelers.
they might have access to some, but
They might have, but they don't carry them in snow.
Well,
and that's what I've been working on, everything out there, that those businesses that are on the Small Works roster,
Well, the RDOs, is it electric with a conversion kit for
No,
propane? Or
RDOs
it's just
is-
a gas or what?
RDOs is a gas, it's got a propane conversion kit.
I think that would be the thing, we'd have to look at it with RDO,
And it's an after-factory conversion kit. It's not,
Okay.
it's not a factory-installed kit.
What are the minuses on electric powered?
Well, just, you have to plug them in.
Yeah.
I think there's less mechanical on them, so you're gonna have less upkeep over a long period of time. But you'll have to replace the
We paid for
battery.
the utility vehicle
You bet.
until Fred gets here.
I would just want to get some thought and direction on which way you'd like to see that go.
Okay.
Well, I think you've got to start on the price, but I do think we need a propane, but I'm not convinced we need two propanes. I think we need to have, and you may have to walk.
Are we buying two?
We're
Is
looking
that
at
what-
two, yeah.
Well, one for track and one for the RV power.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, why do you like propane better than electric powered? Right, just for the,
Well, you don't run out of power.
yeah, you don't, but those new electric powered ones, they aren't like,
Yeah, the newer ones are a lot more self-contained and go a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's all, is my only
but you
concern.
do have
about
to
not
remember to
plugging.
plug them in.
Yeah, just plug them in.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, then we'll take the tabling on it and I'll have some more conversation with Fred about that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rich. It's always a delight to have you with us here.
Did you buy any? Thank you.
So I got 5 minutes?
You wasted
yes,
some of your
because
time
you've
already.
used up some of your time.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for filling that out from the Corps. I didn't
Thank you.
feel like I was qualified to, because you worked with the real estate outfit more than I did. Are you
Yeah.
listening to me?
Oh, no, I'm not.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I filled that out. You're
Okay,
welcome.
yes,
In fact, there's some images if you want to look at them. There's Diane and Mary there.
Oh, okay,
Make copies, whatever you want.
okay. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, and I guess we're a little late.
This was what took place down there, River.
Yeah, right at 39.
And we're here for a bid opening for 2004 motor grader. And how many bids do we have? 3?
It's like three.
I think there's only 2.
Oh,
Third
what's
one's
that
just
one?
a,
That's an attachment to
Uh,
one of them.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the warranty
Western
coverage
States.
for one.
This one? It's
Okay.
an attachment.
Okay, 2 bids. The first bid is,
From Western States. And it includes an attachment.
Okay, I'm going to read 2 things. I'm going to read total net bid, and then guaranteed repurchase price, and then we'll report back on the details when we come back.
okay,
We'll have to evaluate things. A total net bid of $132,511.54. $132,511.54. And a guaranteed repurchase price of $102,000.
At the end of
5 years.
Okay, and the next one from Roland Machinery Company.
a total net bid of $64,980. $64,980, and a guaranteed buyback of $112,500.
Do they?
Say that again. Say the
Would you repeat
purchase.
that?
Is it 160?
No, $64,980. Now, that's the net after the trade-in. We're trading in a John Deere.
Oh, okay.
Both of these, I see both of these are the net.
Right.
After the trade-in.
We bid it this way, but we also have a guaranteed buyback on that John Deere we're trading in. So they can offer us more money, but that's why we have to evaluate these separately and get back to it.
I was gonna say, if there was no trade-in on that, we might just keep buying and
Yeah.
selling back.
I think what you're seeing is, I don't think Cat wants a John Deere
Oh,
Imagine that.
that bad.
oh.
Imagine that.
And John Deere doesn't have a problem getting back their grader.
I see.
That's the difference.
Okay, then when will you be back to award?
Monday.
Monday?
We'll come back with a recommendation on Monday.
At 9:45, your time?
Okay. I didn't know.
Okay, gentlemen, did you hear that?
Yep.
9:45 Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you Monday.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
That-
Thanks for coming in.
Okay, then,
We have a public hearing.
hearing for petition to vacate a portion of Pioneer Road right away.
Yes.
Oh.
I got a larger map here that I'll roll up. It's in color. The one that's attached is not. Maybe gives a better idea of that.
Okay, what portion is being vacated, the green or the yellow? I mean, the blue or the
The
yellow?
yellow.
The
The
yellow.
end. The end of it.
Okay.
Are you gonna call us to order there, Madam Chair?
Probably not do
You
that.
gonna introduce the hearing?
Oh, I did.
No, you didn't.
I said public hearing to vacate a portion of Pioneer Road right away.
You're not gonna tell us
You didn't
who's
do
here
the
or
rest of
anything?
it.
Oh, well, commissioners present are, is that what you want?
Well, I guess.
I wanna hear
That's
the
what you
whole
normally
story.
do.
That's what we normally do.
Commissioner Brock, Corcoran, and Miller are present, along with Patricia Schultz, our clerk of the board, engineer Tim Fife in the audience. We have our prosecutor and
Daryl.
Daryl.
Farnsworth.
Huh?
Our
Farn-
equipment operator.
Okay.
And our
Superintendent.
Our road super, no, our
Good.
shop
Right.
superintendent. Gosh. So, with that, I guess I will turn it over to our county engineer.
We received a petition from Jamie Thier, who is the principal in the ranches that are adjacent to the said vacation, that requesting that it be vacated from this final parcel down here that's owned by somebody else down to their ranch down here. And that's why we advertised the hearing, we posted it properly in accordance with the law. And that's why we're here today. My review of this, there were a couple things that we needed, and one of them, they've actually already gone in and done in anticipation that you're going to approve this. They've already constructed the turnaround at the new location. The only thing that we need before we finalize this, in my conclusion, is an easement that covers that area where the turnaround's been built.
Are we on?
But basically, the existing road is a 26-foot wide gravel that starts at Hendricks Road.
We're not on here. I'm trying it both ways here, just, we're not on. It'll make noise, Pat, when you just tap it. It's on.
I know it's on, I could hear it.
So it's going to you, it's just not going out.
It's
We're
just
not-
not going
It's
out
not
to
on
the.
speakers.
But I don't know how to turn
Why
it
don't you
on.
call our IS boys and have them take a look at it?
Well, as long as she's getting it, it's okay. We're
But
not,
if we get people in the audience.
yeah, later on, we're gonna, may have.
We may need it.
Anyway, the said proposed vacation of Pioneer Road is located off Scootney, heads south from Scootney, about halfway between 17 and Sage Hill. That's an easy thing. And it's 1.8 miles long total. They're proposing to vacate approximately 0.45 miles off the end of it, which from there on, they own all the property that has access to that. Currently, it is gated at the end and posted. Basically, all they want to do is move that up to where they currently own and restrict public access.
Okay.
That's the proposal. The review, like I said, of that, the existing road is a gravel road. We have our vehicle count shows about 44 vehicles a day. It's not a highly traveled road, just primarily the ones that are accessing the property use it. Like I said, I suggested that before we did the finalization that a cul-de-sac would have to be built. They went ahead and have already done that to our standards. The only thing that's left to be done before I suggest that we vacate is that we do need an easement that covers that area where they built the cul-de-sac, so we have the right to maintain it and all that stuff. But this road was built in 1952, CRP 137, and it was built with our obligation to provide access to farm units 57 through 61 of Block 11 of the Columbia Basin Project. A right-of-way deed was granted by the Bureau of Reclamation to Franklin County for us to do that. In reviewing it, we currently maintain approximately 0.05 of a mile beyond where our right-of-way ends, because that's where the gates are. We maintain all the way to their gate. So we technically have that by prescriptive right in accordance with RCW 3675.075.
So even though we vacate it, we can still maintain it?
No,
No. Once
That-
we vacate it, it goes to the property
it
owner.
reverts to the property owner. 'Cause
What about the people on this, that adjoin it to would be to the west? That one circle or part circle there, Tim?
this one here,
No, this one right here.
The green, right?
this
Green,
one,
yeah.
it's the same owner.
Oh, Sugar Ranch, there's no problem there then.
No. The Jamie Pierre is the principal in all.
Who's the guy?
No, that's, oh,
Jamie Pierre.
Here.
that's on now. It was off.
Well, no, that would be the only one I would see, and if he owns it on both sides, he wants to vacate it. Why would we disagree? I mean,
The 44 people that use the road are people that work for him, or
44, that's the number we got when we put a traffic counter up here at the top.
Times that somebody
Oh.
drove
So,
over that road.
I'm not saying all 44 aren't necessarily going all the way down.
oh, okay.
You have a house here, you have a house here, and you have all these fields in here. So a bunch of them are going to drop off before they even get there. So I would suggest you're not probably going to have more than 20 cars a day down at the end of it anyway.
Okay.
but if he owns the ground, they shouldn't,
Well, it'd only be help.
My recommendation is if he wants to take over, since he's the only one that has legal access to this portion of the road, if he wants to take over, then it serves no general use to us any further. So I don't have a problem with vacating,
would be to our advantage.
subject to, yes, that much less we have to take care of.
Yeah.
Subject to us acquiring that easement before we finalize the vacation for the cul-de-sac.
Subject to acquiring,
Written easement for that area where the cul-de-sac is built, so that we can turn around our equipment.
the
maintain
cul-de-sac
that area.
right up here on the end of it.
Like they've already built a cul-de-sac for us, and basically moved it from there up to here. We just need an easement that covers that area.
We just need an easement on a cul-de-sac.
So my recommendation is, yeah, it is of no general use if they're the ones that have access to it.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with vacating it, subject to us getting that easement first.
Okay, so, has he agreed to the easement?
No, I
I
sent
mean,
this
what's-
report to the attorney, but I haven't heard back from him.
Oh, so,
So we can pass it subject to that. It doesn't
Right.
pass if he doesn't agree. So
I just don't
I
like it.
make a motion to approve.
I'll
As
second the
stated.
motion.
Mm-hmm. As presented, yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
I can't see why you'd possibly disagree.
No, I can't either.
No, I said they already went ahead and
So
kinda
then you'll
took a risk
bring
and
the
built it already.
paperwork later?
We're drafting it up right now, and we'll get it done. Once it's signed, I'll bring in the paperwork for you to sign.
And then we'll
Probably.
do it by resolution,
Well,
probably?
so you didn't need this motion, or?
I have a resolution already drafted.
Yeah, we need the
Okay,
motion for
just to-
him to go
okay.
ahead. Mhm. So I will close, well, I guess I should open up to the public, but because there's no public that would speak in favor or against this proposal, I'll close the public hearing. And are there any questions other than, well, we've made the motion
Yeah,
approving it,
I
so
have- didn't have-
I'll close the hearing.
Don't worry, we'd have blurted them out.
Okay.
No,
Do
I
you need a
haven't.
copy of this, or did he give you one? Okay. I'm going to give that back to you.
I think when I was chairman, we agreed to, if,
Pardon me?
I don't have a colored copy.
Oh.
Do I need one?
I only have the big one that's in the file.
I think when I was chairman, we agreed that if the commissioners had a question, they could butt in and ask it, because it was
Okay.
easier to just get it
Yeah.
done.
All right. Now, our next item,
Did we sign the resolution number two?
no,
We're gonna wait.
because we're going to wait for,
And see if they'll accept the conditions.
So do you want these signed now, then?
this is
This is
something
the
else.
next one.
Oh, this isn't it.
Well, actually, it's time for Carol to come up. I got ahead of things a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And we're already good
Totally
right now.
different. It's another one.
Okay, we've got Salt Lake County.
We have salt when Darrell comes in.
Salt Lake
County
County
Sheriff's
Sheriff's used vehicle purchase.
If you remember when we
Yes.
adopted the purchase plan, we were going to try to buy one of their vehicles to try
Right.
it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because we think we can save some money by doing that. With that, I'll turn it over to Joe and where we're at with that.
Right, and their program down there has been going through some changes too. So the vehicles that are available now are a little bit different than we talked about originally. The sergeant's vehicles is the type of vehicle that we would like to have. It's an unmarked vehicle, but it has the wig-wag headlights, the corner strobes, the shield, and all the most of the police equipment that we need, minus the radio and the laptop, that type of stuff. The vehicles are 203s, and they have, all of them have a little over 20,000 miles on them, and they're $19,100. And they're all white, so the choices are easy. And they have approximately 10 of those vehicles
And how
available
many
now.
miles?
20,000.
Oh,
That's
I
just
thought
what
you
we
said
have.
120, and I was like, why are we buying them?
Yeah, and that's approximately what we put on in a year. Actually, a little more than that, but in our sheriff's department. So, if you take the depreciation of a 5-year vehicle, you know, we're getting the vehicle for a lot less than 1/5 of the price of a new one. The new vehicle, equipped the way we need it, is about $26,000.
And these would come for how much, Darrell?
$19,100. Plus the expense of bringing it up here,
Which is the driver?
Which is,
which
What's
is
that going to cost?
well, he's
about $600.
going to fly down the first time.
Uh-huh.
And drive them back?
And drive it back.
What we're thinking is buy one and see how well it works
Works
out.
before we do all of
Yeah.
that.
They have vehicles that have light bars and other things available too, and unmarked vehicles without police equipment, and various other vehicles too.
So if we were buying this vehicle, then the price would be, what did you say, 20?
$19,100.
No, I'm,
26,000.
26. Then would we have to put all this
That's,
equipment on it, on top?
That's with the equipment.
Okay. So we're saving $6,000.
Up 7.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
there's 7,
For a new one.
Over
If you
what
got a
we
new
paid
one.
for a new one.
but
But
it's
we-
got
let's- Let's
20,000.
go a year's worth of
With
life.
depreciation.
Oh,
So, do you think that's still a good price?
Yes, because the way we set up our depreciation schedules, we take the 26,000. Here we'll have 10% salvage value, and we figure them over 5 years. So that leaves less than 5,000 a year we're taking off. So its value after the first year would be still $21,000. So we're saving $2,000 by doing this, roughly.
Right, and so it's not necessarily a huge amount of money, but that's
If
why
you
we'd
do
like.
5 of them, it's $10,000.
Oh, my.
So we'd like to do one and see actually how
See how
well
it works.
out.
Okay. All
A
right.
20,000-mile vehicle is a new vehicle. Good
And
Lord.
they're still under warranty.
Yeah.
I move the approval.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Next thing on is that resolution. I think
Do we need to stamp the resolution and
I do with it.
sign it?
it's for forming a CRP for Road 100.
Coming out of that.
Loud and clear, yeah.
It is coming out of that one over there.
Franklin slipped out.
Oh, did you do a motion already?
That was the one. Neva.
I thought you had handed us a resolution for the vehicle.
Okay.
We haven't,
Okay.
we haven't had a resolution.
Let's move
on this
right
one yet.
along
This is
to
for
issue number 4.
This is creating CRP 579 for Road 100 extension of Broadmoor.
Yeah, road. And all that is we're looking at funds.
We're setting up 50,000 to do the study
Yeah.
that we talked about earlier.
There's only one thing wrong with that project.
What's that?
It should be done. We need it.
Now.
Yeah. I move for approval of resolution CRP 579 in regard to Road 100, Broadmoor to Dent Road.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye. I think I signed off on this. Now I'll catch on the way back.
You know, when we started talking about it, we didn't realize how bad it was going to be out there.
Everybody I talked to is excited about it.
Yeah.
I don't know
It
who
needs
anybody
to be
lives out there is
done.
going to be excited about it.
And wants to know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, when's it going to be done?
Unfortunately, we don't move that fast. And we don't have funding yet.
But it should rate pretty high, shouldn't it?
Yes, it should. They'll be out to do the evaluation here this spring, and then we'll submit it this fall. So, this is a resolution to sign, to have the chair to sign the contracts for JEB to start the study for the Road 100 extension.
And I move the approval of that resolution.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's all I got.
Oh, that's
Back on
plenty.
schedule.
You flustered me this morning.
We
We got our hearing.
accomplished a lot this
We
year.
had our hearing.
Is it JUD or JUB?
JEB.
He is in boy.
Yeah, when you look at these bids on the surface, you know, it's,
Well, that's why
yeah.
I could have read the whole thing for you, but it's if you know, the CAT can still be the apparent result based upon what we'll do is we'll turn back the John Deere grader to Roland at their guaranteed price and sell CAT or buy CAT It's still possible. We've done that in the past when it works out that way. You have to take it back and evaluate it.
But you're just looking at the figures and they come down.
It doesn't look very good.
No.
Thank you, Tim. Good work. Got lots accomplished today.
I didn't make up for Monday when I was all running. From jet lag.
Oh, I'm glad you qualified that. Well, Darren.
What's your name again?
Remember that guy?
See how quickly you say you might leave and we just forget you.
Yeah.
He's out of here.
I've already forgotten.
You haven't even gone yet, Darren. They're not.
I actually don't have a whole lot this morning. Bridget handed me on the way in an early draft of a potential water follies agreement. Apparently there's a desire on at least somebody's part to perhaps make this a 3-year agreement instead of a 1-year agreement. This doesn't actually incorporate that yet, so I'll reserve comment on that. I don't know if that's something that you're interested in or not. The one thing I did notice, though, just looking through it while I was sitting in the audience, this language has been in the contract forever, but it does make it subject to the terms and conditions of the lease granted to the county by the United States Corps of Engineers, I assume, on the dike area. Mm-hmm. I know only what I hear in the papers is there was some change in the works of the lease agreement with the Corps of Engineers.
For better.
Redone it.
Is there anything that would change in that would be needed to be reflected in here or not? But don't worry about that issue. The only other issue I have, and I don't need to discuss the details of it, but I was asked by the planning department to look up a Walla Walla County Federal Court of Appeals case.
Yeah.
And just to give you a heads up, the information I have so far indicates that that Court of Appeals case was not published to the public, and the short, what they call memorandum decisions, about 3 sentences long, and is not useful for any particular purposes. I have contacted Walla Walla County, and they are going to try and dig up their old documents from the original case and give us whatever additional they might have. But frankly, I don't expect it's going to be very fruitful, given that the court didn't even make it a published opinion. It doesn't sound like it actually covers. So anyway, if you're holding your breath for that, I guess I'm saying don't hold it too long. It'll take a week or two probably for Walla Walla to even find the information, and when they do, it doesn't sound like it'll be particularly useful.
That's their case based on customs and culture.
Yes. So, I mean, what little information I have at this point, it's not looking promising, and it
So
won't be
the
arrived tomorrow.
decision is not open to the public?
It's not a published decision. The Court of Appeals did what they call a memorandum, a decision which basically says, based on a technicality, they agree the case should be thrown out. My understanding is the technicality they're dealing with has nothing to do with any of the issues you're interested in. And as a result, they simply didn't discuss the issues you're interested in. That being said, I believe the lower court has some written opinion, which again was not upheld or even discussed by the Court of Appeals, so it has no real precedential value.
On this particular issue, there have been similar issues in other states on this thing, not in the state of Washington. Caddo County is the one that had a lot of issues on that, and there were different decisions on it there.
Right. But I just want to give you a heads up because I was getting the idea you were hoping to get the Walla Walla information immediately, and the answer is it's not available immediately, and when it is, I don't know if it's going to be really much of it.
Okay.
I'll get it to you when we get it. Do you have any questions for the legal department? That makes it easy. Go back home. All right, thanks.
Thank you,
Okay,
Darren.
thanks, Darren. I'm sorry you had to
Can we
wait.
take a quick break?
Yes, we'll take a quick break.
Yeah.
Are we behind?
We're feeling pretty good.
Roger, how are you? You're going to get so used to these nice fancy days that you won't.
Yeah, the public kind of likes walking in from the ground level right into the building.
Pleased. Very pleased.
On what first one?
On April 16th, the BLM.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard nothing but positive things. I came in Sunday, seeing who was up there in the stands and interested in purchasing.
Who was there? Frank?
I would have liked to have a
Did you buy any,
little
Frank?
You know, I was real tempted, and I almost bought the first one, or the second one, and I didn't.
And why?
Pardon me?
Why didn't you?
Didn't know whether I wanted to go through it again or not.
Do you break your own horses?
I don't get on the wild ones. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
No sense of adventure, obviously.
As I mentioned, Commissioner Brock on the Friday when we were watching them and unload and such, I heard that one of the trainers, horse trainers, is using those burros to halter brake because you're personally driving it and you're struggling. But those burros, they'll just work
They're just staunch.
And people will continue to use those burros to help train their wild horses.
Yeah.
So,
We used to have a guy out
That whole
here
thing was-
that
Did the
only
little
with
birds
girls.
all get sold?
one did not.
Oh.
Well, they got down to the just
I got
one left.
one left.
I wonder if I could have bought that and convinced the neighbors that was a large dog.
They had a
His
17-year-old
own
girl
yard.
that had probably been to 100 sales that came in there, wondering.
Was he the one that didn't get sold?
I don't know.
Probably.
That'd be terrible to be the only burl that didn't get sold.
Yeah, I know the.
The emotional impact.
Yeah, the
That's
emotional
right.
impact.
Getting a lot of truck trips. She's seen a lot of country,
No, I thought things might.
Maybe he's writing a book and he just
Yeah.
acts that way so he won't get sold.
But the most important thing for the deal then was to make sure that the animals got sold, and I think for the most part they.
Yeah, that was good.
Nice sale, nice exposure. We had really nice media coverage on that.
Yes.
And a lot of people came out and looked. Friday there was a number of people, but Saturday was very, very busy, and then Sunday. I think in the end it's about the same number of buyers that we had the previous sale, but I think they sold more animals.
They ran it better this time. They ran it better than before. They did it by pen before, and they came in with a pen, but then they sold them off individually within the pen, so everyone had a chance. And then they had a walk-up buddy program afterwards.
How long that sale take?
About an hour and a half in the morning.
That's it?
Didn't take very long.
No, it didn't take long.
They went right through them. It was kind of fun to watch. I think the highest bid was about $1,250, $1,300.
For one, $1,250 for that Tiger yearling stallion. Yeah.
Anyway, with that, we also, last weekend, it's not on this, but the softball complex, we did well over $2,000 in sales at the softball complex. Certainly weren't expecting that kind of a crowd and those kind of sales, but that kept Mel hopping all weekend long.
Wow.
Back and forth.
Wow.
So that was quite a bit over there at the softball complex, and then we had the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. It was originally scheduled in the pavilion, but we moved it into the expo hall, kept it at the same rate, so we didn't have to make that conversion in the pavilion from the stalls to Rocky Mountain back to stalls. So that worked out fine, nice bar for us on that. And then last night we had the advisory board meeting. Tonight we've got the Ebony Fashion Show.
That must be a world record on that board meeting with 14 there.
That was our staff.
Okay.
That was our staff that added.
We had pretty good attendance from our...
Yes, we had a full quorum. One person was not in attendance due to a conflict, and we knew ahead of that.
But we're not suffering from one board member habitually not showing up.
No.
Good.
That's not a situation. It's ongoing. Also this weekend, the Hawaiian auction at the Pasco Chamber, and we've got barrel racing this weekend. And then we're turning it around immediately to the Hanford Safety Expo next week. So there's a lot of work and a lot of planning to be done to get ready for that. And then you can see the rest of this schedule as we get down through the month of May. That's kind of the point. The advisory board did want to meet on May 25th to take a look at the hotel upon completion. They went through it last night, and they're very impressed with the RV park. And
You think he's being a little aggressive when he says the 10th of May?
I think it's doable as we went through, but boy, it's very aggressive.
Fred thought it was not.
Very aggressive. It would have to be a very aggressive, doable.
First of
I
June.
didn't see that last night.
1st of June.
1st of June, I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, 1st of June it should go.
I'd like to walk through that again.
Yeah, I was...
Give me a call ahead of time to make sure I'm there, or
We should go together so he doesn't have to take two trips.
Okay.
just let me know. I'll be glad
Well,
to take you through there.
what about, we're done here about 11:30. Could I come up?
See you at 11:30. Again, the advisory, let's see. Last week I told you that Promociones Noe would have an event this week and dance this weekend. He has not. He canceled on us. We had the deposit, so and he's down for the Memorial Weekend, which is usually a good show. So anyway, we lost one event, but we do have the deposit on that. the story of inconsistency. An exceptionally good event, just not more than, what, 3 weeks
Was that
ago.
him that had the
was him.
exception?
Exceptionally good.
About 3,400,
I
right?
heard that he was having visa problems with the entertainers.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
well, those things happen.
We'll go through
Yeah.
and find out what the issue was on that. I want to bring your attention to May 30th, however, that is a rap concert. It's the first one we'll give a try, and we'll see what happens.
Is that going to be in the?
In the expo hall.
Who's promoting that?
That'll be promoters, local promoters, and they did the event in Yakima successfully. So we're looking at how they managed it in Yakima.
No.
No problems there.
Are there going to be any raised seats or anything?
Nothing. This is our dance setup. Because we're not anticipating a large crowd.
Okay. All right.
So, next thing on the agenda is chair fabric. Mentioned this is the color. The reason they chose this is because it still matches, but because of the diverse client group we have and their requirements of today yellow, tomorrow aqua, and the next day is red, and so on.
That'll blend with everything.
Neutral, but something that still fits within the color
They can all be happy.
And it won't be so easy to get.
So
Show
with your approval, we'll go
soil.
ahead and forward and get
Yeah.
to work on this.
That looks
Okay?
Got
nice.
it.
Very good.
You have a
Advisory-
consensus.
Very good. Advisory board update last night. They would like to come back on the 25th of May, so we'll put that on the agenda as far as the next meeting for them. Again, they were very pleased with the hotel, and they too saw a stretch on May 10th. I've seen in the last 2 weeks, and what I've seen in the last 2 weeks, and what I'm seeing left, maybe. But still, we don't have any contracts out on it until June.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that's good safe.
We've been
that's-
monitoring the situation and very cautious on looking into that time. Let's see, KNDU monitor. I got a call from KNDU yesterday, since we'll be doing that tower cam out there. They said that they would be willing to buy a monitor and have it in our lobby and have that, since that camera will be on all the time, that would, it would feed into that monitor in our building, again making it more top of mind for people and understand the connection between us and the tower cam and that as they come on site. If you're interested in me pursuing that, I will. If you just soon leave that atrium open.
How big?
It's yet to be determined, but if it's the reason I'm bringing it up is it was an offer that they would even buy the monitor for us.
We could look at it,
We could,
without making a decision on it yet.
no, but if you really didn't want to see anything like that in there, I'd knock it off right now. I wouldn't even enter discussion with them. But if you want me to see what they're talking about and bring it back to you, I will do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'd be interested.
Looking
Okay.
cheap, yeah.
I will do that then. And then finally, the last thing on the agenda is the event management software. If you recall, about 3 weeks ago or a month ago, I had a list of different items that we needed was in the budget and we're looking to purchase. And we got a quote back from Dean Evans and Associates under Event Management Systems. It's a proprietary software. We have looked through 4 different types of software, and this is the only one that does what we are looking to do as far as scheduling and coordination of event information. And it's one that does everything we want it to do, and it is the lowest price of those that we want it to do. And the price on this is $8,028, which includes training. We're looking at this as a bond money purchase. It was budgeted under bond.
It's in this year's
It's
budget.
in this budget, and it is under the bond, not general operating costs. And we look to submit this to you in resolution form, probably on the consent agenda next Monday.
Now, has IS looked at
Yes,
that
they
at all?
have, and they
Okay.
approved it.
Okay. That's my big concern.
They've looked at it, so Monday you'll see something come through on the consent agenda.
Okay.
Good idea.
Very good.
And that's what I have, and up to the last 4 weeks.
Looks like
going
you've got a
wall to wall.
heavy load there.
Yeah.
A lot of goods, that's what we're here for.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that.
good.
The Central Washington Quarter Horse Association is coming in.
The Quarter Horse Show is coming in. That show was in Yakima. We got it over at the track last year. It was successful, but with our improvements out there, we think they'll really be pleased with what they're saying. I also understand that Yakima is investing in their equestrian facilities, and we need to make sure that we have a very positive experience this year to be able to keep them here as opposed to going back to their home area of Yakima.
And we did set
That's up there at the close to the Sun Dome or at the Sun Dome.
We set rates on our RV park. We put a $3 dog charge in. I think we're a little light on that dog charge.
Now, Frank.
I can't believe as a dog owner that you would, and the feeder of the neighborhood dogs, that you would feel that way.
That I am true. I'm the feeder of the neighborhood dogs.
Well, I'm glad we have something in there regarding the dogs, because that is going to be an ongoing issue. They're going to be digging in the grass. They're going to be messes. And there'll be a constant issue with it.
Digging in the grass is just part of it, and we may have to.
Well, we could charge them and then have a
dog police,
a damage deposit, and then if everything's okay, then give them their deposit back.
It's kind of hard to know where to do their damage. But we're going to have to watch that dog thing real close in there.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, boy.
We will.
Dog police, huh?
What about kitty charges?
They tread like it.
Yeah. Kitties are better.
Okay. Any comments, criticisms?
Nope.
Nothing else.
Looks good.
Okay, thank you.
Just wanted to bring you up on the dog issue here.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ray.
So we're getting a good audience. Bunch of good-looking guys out there, by God.
Should be out in the field working all day.
It's almost time, and I think Mr. Boyman with DNR is going to meet with us.
Bill, I'm Frank Brown. Bill, we've met before. Yes, it's good to see you.
Yes.
Good to see you again.
And our planners, yes, please. And Steve, would you like to sit up here also on the side?
We want you to sit on the side, Stephen.
Well, there might be some questions in regarding the tax issue. I guess this is a meeting with the Department of Natural Resources, and it's been brought to our attention about some purchases and in regard to taxes that we might lose. And it's an informational meeting from you to the Board of County Commissioners and our planners. There is an interest in the rural community regarding losing farmland to the state, and then of course our concern as county commissioners is the loss of revenue for our tax base, and we just need an understanding from your department. And with that, I think I will turn it over to our planners. However, people in the audience, this, I don't want it to turn into a debate. It's for your information to hear it from the state officials. And if you have questions of Mr. Boynham, I would appreciate you to meet with him after our hearing here, or not hearing, but public meeting. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, it was my understanding I was coming in to talk about, kind of what we've been doing. I wasn't aware that it was questions on taxes and insurance, or taxes and that type of stuff.
Oh, well,
I'm somewhat prepared, but not.
Yeah, well, I think our assessor is here, and he give us some figures in regard to it, but we might have to have a follow-up meeting.
Sure. Understand.
Are there any comments from my other two board members?
I think the letter that we sent out to you initially precipitated this meeting, and when you called back and said that for this time.
And I'm not sure I really saw that. I think it came from Olympia, and so I wasn't.
Okay.
So
yeah.
there is.
So you are kind of blindsided, and I'm sorry about that.
No, We'll do as best we can. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
The purpose was for clarification, because there's been some real concern in the community about the DNR purchasing ground. And our concern here is the impacts that it has on the county, and this is what we want to address.
About a year ago, I came in and talked, and we were speaking then at that point in time of how we were going to be doing some selling of lands in this particular area, and we would probably be looking at some purchases. And this map right here, it's going to be kind of hard to show, but I'll try to put it in front of you as best I can.
I'm going to turn my microphones off because that's...
If we could put it up over here, maybe everybody can have access to looking at it, the people in the
We get
audience.
some napkin paper, anything here that we can run across.
I didn't bring any tape.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, we'll come up with something.
I turned mine off because
The map was on it.
the map was on it, causing so much noise.
The dark purple on this map shows DNR land purchases that we made in and around the area. This is actually in Benton County, but we thought we'd show it to you from that standpoint. That's the stuff that's in and around the Goose Gap, Goose Hill, orchards and vineyards in that particular area. These are some farmland pieces that we purchased up in northern Franklin County. This is an orchard that we purchased over there from the Stemilk Group. It's an insurance company that actually owned it. In that, we also have a number of parcels that are being offered for sale. That's that Pasco 14, and this is the ground that's there, not next to the track in off Road 68.
Which piece, excuse me, which piece is that again off Road 68?
Right there. That's the
That's where the school just purchased.
Correct.
Here, the 82
school,
acres.
School just
Yes.
came in. They're working on that. There's kind of, I think, a 60 or 80 acre parcel that's being
82 acres, I think.
82 acres.
Yes.
Okay. Those are actually listed as commercial properties, and they're managed from our out of our Olympia division. But we get involved in them from that standpoint. But both those parcels are these are the over here, which I believe is the Grand Ridge schools over there across the river. And there's still one little parcel next to, I believe it's Meadow Springs, that's still available for sale. And then, in addition, is that this isn't a complete map of it, but I see in any purchase and sale program, we went through the agency and kind of looked at over all our lands all over. We have about 3 million acres of uplands throughout the state of Washington. 2.1 million acres of it are timbered land, and approximately 900,000 acres are non-treed for all practical purposes. And there's a lot of smaller parcels that are not really manageable from that standpoint. If you look at the 40s and smaller parcels here that I see us selling over time, these are granted lands that were given to the state of Washington at the time of statehood. They were given to the state for the construction of schools for the K-12 program. We manage these in trust with an undivided loyalty towards that aspect. So as we are selling lands throughout the state, we obviously are interested in purchasing lands to replace those as far as having an overall trust asset to manage the longevity of the school.
Bill?
Yes.
All of those mauve-colored squares.
Yes, those are current pieces of land that the DNR owns.
Yes. And are they all being leased out?
I would say that probably 98% of them are leased out. Yeah. And we do it with the local farmers. Normally, on our irrigated, if we have an irrigated parcel, it's done for a cash rent. If it's a dry land wheat lease, it's share crop. Commercial leases would be cash rent. If we go through a market analysis on it. Some of the leases have been in the hands of various farmers for, tens of years. Any questions on that?
Well, and this brings up an interesting concern from the county standpoint, is that on ground that you're buying, it affects us, even though we get a leasehold tax on it. It amounts to, I think the assessor said, we get 47% of what we would get if it were property tax. In other words, we're losing funds from that.
Well, we pay a compensating tax when it's purchased, and then there's leasehold tax on the...
Explain your compensating tax.
I don't know if I can.
Well, I think Steve can. I think
He
Steve.
probably could there. Is it?
Well, the compensating tax is on the amount of lease, there's a 12.84% that is paid in leasehold tax back.
No, that's leasehold tax. This is a compensating tax that's paid on the purchase. It's a separate. It's not a PILT, but it's a compensating tax. And if you ask me to tell you the difference, I can't.
Is it a one-time payment, though?
It's a one-time payment, correct.
Based on what percentage?
I don't know that answer. I didn't come prepared for that.
Okay. Because we're looking at an every year basis, when we lose, say, 53% every year.
Here's two document, and I only made 3 copies because I thought I was only speaking to 3. But you can look at this. These are the 2 purchases that we have made to date from Franklin County, and you can see that there was on Schwindeman, it was $1 million purchase price, and we paid a compensating tax of $46,000. And we have an estimated leasehold tax that would be around $9,000 a year. That's based upon what we feel at our lease will.
Now, Steve, could you answer? Would this be divided up between all the taxing districts?
Yes. Well, you quoted $9,000. That's the leasehold.
No, I'm talking.
That's the
I
lease
think
amount.
she's asking the compensating.
Compensating tax was $46,000.
$46,000.
If that's paid to the county, that would be distributed out to those taxing districts. I'm not aware of the compensating tax. I didn't see that in place. So that's something we would need to take a look at and see how that's handled.
We have some
basically with the leasehold tax for from here on out. So this is the tax that's paid at time of sale. So
correct.
So we would need to take a look at that.
And we just get a portion.
I don't know.
And we just get a portion of the leasehold tax.
Leasehold tax, yes. We get of what is paid, the 12.84% is paid. We get 47% of that. The state
And the
gets
rest?
53%.
Okay. And what we're looking at here, Bill, is the impacts that come to the county. Here in '95, we adopted this ordinance. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. It originally came from Catherine County, Walla Walla County.
Where are the ordinance?
Yes, we adopted it. And anytime a state or federal agency comes into your county and does something that's going to impact you, either economic-wise or customs and culture, then we need to be involved in it in some way. And this is what brought this about here. We have a copy of that ordinance, I believe, here. If you don't have a copy.
We're going to have several.
And anyhow, this is what we're trying to address so that we are involved.
Sure.
I think the people in the audience, I think, have come for a different purpose. They're here because they feel that they're competing with DNR in land purchases. Can you pass some of those out to the audience there, Greg?
I have a list of parcels that we have looked at as far as acquisitions. Some we've bought and some we haven't. I'll be glad to share that with you from that standpoint. Is that if you can look at it from the standpoint is that not everything that we have offered we've been able to buy. Each individual parcel that we look at, we go through a very in-depth economic analysis on it. We look at it from the standpoint if we can get a good rate of return on it, and that would determine what we would offer for the parcel. If we could get that based upon what our lease options would be at that point in time. And if there is an agreement from the seller's standpoint, we don't buy it.
No, got a willing buyer and a willing seller. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. But we're only in a position to address our economic impacts, the things that will change or impact the county here. And this is why we adopted this ordinance. And if you have a copy of that anything that is affecting us, we have a right to be a part of.
Did you have any comments?
Well, I just, I've been in discussion with some of the local farmers, and Greg and Steve, and one of the comments, and one of them was about the CRP, the dryland program, what, the private individuals can do versus what the state can do, and I'm not real familiar with it, but there's a gentleman here, if the board would be willing to hear some comments from someone in the audience, would speak to that more specifically, if the board would be willing.
Well,
I think that would be good.
Well, how much time do we have? If we've got time, we certainly would.
Well, if the chairman would entertain having one individual who's more familiar with the specifics.
Okay,
I think Dave.
Well, it was brought to my attention from...
Who am I speaking with?
I'm David Manarola. It was brought to my attention by one of the guys in the dryland area, which I don't have anything to do with, but he was saying that now we've got a CRP max of $50,000 for a farmer is what they can receive. The DNR is unlimited on the amount of money they can receive from the CRP. So they're getting an unfair advantage in the purchasing of land because it's more valuable to them because they don't have these limits on them. And there was a big concern about that.
Okay. We currently there has been a dispensation given because of the school trust ownership. They are not underneath the $50,000 limitation. I think.
What do you?
Is that true
Yeah.
throughout the nation? I mean, does that work
I believe
for
it
other
is
states
for other
also?
states that it has. I think that like Arizona and different states have that same exemption.
When you say you have given a dispensation, what are you telling us here?
There was a specific public law that was passed at the federal level that granted that to the state. Now it's way before my time starting with the agency, so I can't speak to it chapter and verse, but we do.
So that's something that was granted to you, period, and that's
right.
So that it does give you the advantage, period, is what we're saying, but by federal law that you're...
Yeah, I think we're somewhat tied in, and I'm a little bit out of my league when I say this, but it's also we're tied with what the farmer gets. And so is it we have a nexus to the individual farm from that standpoint too, so that it isn't just carte blanche. The farmer has to be able to qualify underneath the federal farm payment program in order to be able to get that, for us to be able to entertain them too. Because you can there's irrigated farms that do not participate in the federal farm program. The state does not, we basically are the partner with the farmer. So the nexus is to him.
If you purchase it, you're still in partnership with the farmer, or it goes with whatever that land qualifies for?
If we purchase it, then it would be, then our partnership is with our new lessee.
Excuse me, I think Dave was going to...
I had a comment on that. See, when we go and rent ground, and you go to the ASCS office and receive those payments, you are not allowed, the owner of the ground does not receive those payments. It's whoever's got an active interest in the growing crop. So if you lease your ground out and have no economic effect by what happens to that crop, you are not supposed to receive any of that payment. And from what you just said there, you're actively with the farmer getting that payment, and that shouldn't be allowed.
Well, I think we are a crop share on our dry land, so I think that's probably why we are, you can say that we are active in it.
Because the farmer is a tenant farmer then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
How about the irrigated though? The irrigated's our biggest concern here. But, on the irrigated,
And your question is?
on the irrigated, do you receive the payments on that, or do you not?
No, I don't believe so. There's most of the ground there, I think most of the enrolled farm program, typically the irrigated people haven't played big in the farm program, but I may be speaking in an area that I'm not really knowledgeable. Do you participate in it right now?
Yes.
Then we would, if you were our lessee, then we would share in that federal farm payment based upon the percentages of our lease.
If he was sharecropping,
If he was sharecropping.
which irrigated doesn't do, didn't you
Irrigated
say?
would be cash rent, so
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't. At one point in time, we were all percentage rent on just almost everything, but in irrigated, we have switched over time to a cash rent situation.
Can you give us an answer, and I'm not asking you to give us an answer today because you said you weren't prepared, but can you give us an answer as how the DNR would respond to our ordinance here?
I'm not totally, I think we want to meet and talk with you, and a year ago I came in here and I said that we were going to be looking at potentially some purchases. We have a sales program. We'd be looking at some purchases.
I'm not sure. We started sending out these notices here in the last, 2 or 3 years to the agencies? Yeah, it was the first time. And I'm not sure whether that precipitated your coming in or not.
A year ago was, when I came in, was because there was, we were selling parcels that were in and around, the Franklin County area that had those offered for sale. And there was a fair amount of interest from the local community on those sales. It's interesting how they don't want you to sell it, and then they don't want you to buy it. So it's an interesting dilemma that one gets put in.
I think since Doug Sutherland has been in the position, elected position, I think that's when DNR started coming in to the counties and apprising the boards of what the activity was going to be. I don't know if it's often enough, but it's a start from what we had before.
Sure. I think what has concerned the farmers, not buying it, but not being able to compete. In other words, they don't feel they can compete with a government agency in purchasing ground. And this has been the concern. And this is, I think, probably why the majority of them are here. But our concern as a county is addressing our ordinance, which is an impact on the county, and economic-wise would be the impact. And this is something that we need to research further together. And
be glad to do that with you.
If we could set up another meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you would have time to.
Well, I could certainly respond back, more.
With Mr. Sutherland probably, or whoever's in charge of that.
When we're looking at the figures we're looking at based on 47% as opposed to 100%, there is an impact here.
But
Correct.
It isn't
Correct.
only
Yeah.
an impact.
And
property tax.
And that is set by the legislature.
Right, it is, and that would be something we'd have to go to the legislature.
It's
to deal with
that I think originally when they came out with the leasehold tax, it was recognizing that there was an imbalance there of unfair advantage from the standpoint that state land had and needed to be paying back some into it. And how they came up with the 48% coming back to the county, I don't know, but there's usually some pretty big hands that are grabbing at dollars when they come through the system.
But it's not only the county that loses, it's our school districts, fire districts, hospital districts.
all of our taxing districts.
All the taxing districts in our area
And
lose.
but our interest is on the big picture for all of our entities that, and with taxes and the initiatives that are coming through, we're going to probably get another big hit. So,
But I just want to make one comment in relationship to ordinance. This is not making an ordinance to try to get the state to follow our ordinance here. We can't do that, and we know that. what we're trying to do is to get the state and federal government to follow their own ordinances, just coordinating, and this is all this amounts to. And these are laws that are already in place. We're just trying to get them to coordinate with us. We know that a county can't override the agency above them.
Well, and we're not trying to make your life difficult either.
We understand that.
Yeah, we're the farm ground is a good investment, and that DNR I think is a good land manager, and we have lots of good farmers that rent our ground and are very pleased to rent our ground, and it's we think from a long-term investment that it is in the best interest of the trust land managers that we're managing for. In fact, if you had the board of trustees for the WSU here, they're wanting us to take a look at the whole portfolio of lands that we have, taking underperforming assets that are out there, and liquidate and put them into lands that will give a better return. Going from rangeland to dry land, or dry land to irrigated, or underperforming timbered land, buying commercial, what have you. We have, land that is used for a lot of different factors. In fact, one of the parcels that was sold was track, and you purchased that back in, I think, in the early 90s.
That was one of the better sales you made.
It was, yeah. And I'm sure that the school district in Kennewick and Rick, or in Pasco just recently, appreciate that.
Those kinds of sales, I'm sure there's no objection to. The sales that put you in competition with somebody else, these are sales that we would object to here. And
well, I think is that from the seller he does not want to be restricted on who can buy their land either. So
we can't do that,
right.
Nor are we trying to. What we're saying is, we're looking at tax dollars competing with private dollars, and I mean this is the issue.
And I can't speak for Commissioner Sutherland, but I know that he would be there from his county experience, championing the county having some parity with their lands over time. I think that he would work in that venue. But like I said, I don't wish to speak for Doug right here today.
Yeah.
As he comes into most of our county meetings, I think most everybody that's been a commissioner has met Doug one time. Right?
Well, he's a fine gentleman. It's great to work for.
Yeah. And Judy Wilson, who works with him
Former
closely,
county
and
commissioner too.
she is quite an asset to the office. And
okay. Well, if we get something scheduled, I'll have to check my calendar and get back. We'll get back on.
Let us know.
And I'll check with who should I work with from the standpoint of questions that they want to have answered.
Probably the planning department. Here. We need to get a date set up so we can have another meeting after we get a chance.
But he doesn't have.
I have electronic calendar, and I didn't make a copy of it this morning.
But we don't have to make it this moment. But I mean, so we can do it here and get it okay
on the schedule.
And then we'll have it advertised.
Okay.
And I'm sure that there might be some gentlemen in the audience that would like to speak to you if you give them some time.
Yep.
And with that, I guess.
We thank you for coming in.
Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate
Sorry
it.
to put you on the hot seat and not have you prepared for what we wanted to talk about, but I think under the circumstances you did the best you could do, and we appreciate you meeting with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you in the
Thanks,
audience
Bill.
for coming in.
Yes, thanks everyone. So,
We get all the copies of that ordinance passed out. Okay, everybody that. Give one to Brent. Do you have one? Greg? Here's a man that needs a copy of that ordinance there. We'll get you a special. We'll get you a special one, Greg.
do you have any more business?
Okay, good.
No.
You were on the
Okay,
initial
we're adjourned.
committee. I know on the
Okay.
implementation.
Adjourned.